He'll be able to identify who did it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more, Ryan?
Yeah, and usually it's Dad, honestly.
At 11, I got my Uncle Dan coming in at 11:30 with his big old truck.
Dad will talk a little bit more about
I'm wound up.
Oh, wait.
Football's better.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
And
look what I did. 3, 2, 1. Guys, welcome back to All right, welcome back to the MacCast. Exciting episode here. We got testing out some microphones, so hopefully our audio quality is a little bit better. We're excited to see what that looks like, and we're always looking to improve and increase the product that we put out there. We appreciate you checking in on us today. We're gonna dive into the 2025 NFL draft. This will be our official 2025 NFL mock draft MacCast version.
Just round one.
Round one. First 32 picks we're going to dive into. Breaking down all 32 teams that may be involved in that. Are all 32 teams having to pick this NFL draft?
They are.
That's a good question.
As of now. All right. So with that being said, I'm Jason McClellan. As always, I'm joined by my brother Ryan and my dad Dan. And, of course, our mascot, Zeke. Zeke McClellan is in the house today. So, with that being said, Ryan, why don't you get us started here on this first round? First round, number one draft pick. Who you got?
1.0.
Going to the Tennessee Titans as of now.
Yeah,
correct?
as of now. So we'll just stick with as how it is without trade and stuff. Like we just talked earlier in the break, is who's the best player available? You know, right now, as it sits, a lot of guys are having Abdul Carter, I think, edge rusher from Penn State. I mean, you look for a dynamic first pick, and usually it's a quarterback a lot of the times to help your team. But you start to look at the way defenses are starting to make an impact is that edge rusher spot. I think that is a very key position. It is getting paid in the lower $30 million contract kind of players, and that's like almost the second highest paid in the NFL behind the quarterbacks.
It's $30 million.
Yeah,
So it's
$30 million a year.
High value.
It's a high value pick.
High value position.
So if you're looking at deciding what the biggest impact is going to be for your team, I think that edge rusher or a quarterback has got to be the 1 or 2 spots right now.
Okay. And so who do you got? You with Abdul Carter?
Abdul Carter, yeah.
Okay, so I also think Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State, going to the Titans if that is, indeed the team that's number one. What about you, Dad?
That's the general consensus that he's going to go
number
one simply because Tennessee is going to pass on the quarterbacks because they have one that they just drafted a couple of years ago, and plus they're not real impressed with the quality of the quarterback class.
Okay.
Do you guys know his 40 time for an edge rusher?
No.
Do you know it, Dad?
I do not.
Do you have any guesses? It's fast.
Okay.
It's fast. He's 259 pounds, 6'3". Edge rusher.
That's pretty big.
He runs a 40 and a 4.48.
Jeez, yeah, that's a.
That dude is moving.
That's
a
unfair.
fast moving locomotive.
That's unfair, is what that is.
So you start to break down that first pick as a dynamic pick that we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a dynamic.
I guarantee you, if he's there at 2, he will be a Cleveland Brown.
That would be fantastic. And
I
I know Myles Garrett would probably be pulling for that.
Appreciate
one as well.
that
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. That
Can you
would
imagine
really.
with those two hedge hunters?
Yeah.
And I think that one pick would make him want to stay.
Make him want to stay. Give him hope that that they can make a run for the playoffs and not like a Joe Thomas to his career. We don't really want to do that to him. So then, talking about dynamic players, Travis Hunter's who I got going number two.
Okay.
Wide receiver out of Colorado, got a lot. He played both sides of the ball. I think just out of pure athleticism and what he could, he's just a dynamic player on the field, making plays. And I think the Browns would do well with him. What about you?
I got a surprise pick here for you folks.
Okay, Zeke, be ready.
With the whole Deshaun Watson issue, I think he's not going to even play next year, correct? From injuries, what we're
He
understanding?
re-injured his Achilles, which normally would take up to 1 year to heal. And so after the season was over, he tore it again.
Yeah.
So now you got to add a year from probably say January of this year. So he's not going to be ready to play next year.
No.
I mean, it's possible. If he does the same thing Aaron Rodgers did.
So if you're a Cleveland Brown office, and you're sitting there looking
Aaron Rodgers is a good point.
at pick 2.
Yeah.
You seen what the season was last year with Deshaun Hurt not producing, with Winston behind him not really doing what he was supposed to do, what the hope was. I have the Browns picking Cam Ward at pick 2.
That's a nice pick.
That's not bad. I'm okay with Cam Ward,
That's
too.
a nice pick. I just don't see this front office picking a quarterback in the first
That high?
round.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't see it. They have in the past every year.
Right.
Well, they took Baker Mayfield at 1, and look at the class that Baker Mayfield was in.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they've learned from that first quarterback pick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think they're going to look. I think they're going to bypass the quarterback position. That's only my opinion.
No, yeah.
And it might contradict going
That's only
quarterback.
but traditionally, you're exactly
Yeah.
on point with that.
This is our 1.0. So
Yeah.
So I'm on the Travis Hunter bandwagon because he's the most dynamic player out there in these dual use.
I agree.
When they need a deep threat or something, they
Yeah.
put him at wide receiver. But I think he'll get 90% of his playing time on the defensive side of the ball, opposite Ward. Can you imagine that?
That would be great. That would be good.
Him and Ward, and then you got that kid that they found that he didn't have a good sophomore year, but he's another starting corner in the NFL that's really good. So they'll have 3 really good corners.
Yeah.
But the only problem is you need about 12. Because if you notice, the NFL teams went smaller in the secondary so they could have the speed to stay up with receivers.
Okay.
So that position is kind of smaller.
Yeah.
But now that NFL teams are dominating with tight ends and the Mike Williamses of the league.
Sure, yeah. Big body wide receivers.
Big body type
and
wide
tight ends,
receivers.
yeah.
So now, you look at that, they have to start getting bigger.
Yeah, or at least that nickelback's got to be a little bit bigger for sure.
So do you think, not to change the subject, do you think Travis Hunter's size, being 6'1",
It's a drawback.
185 pounds, is a drawback?
It's a drawback.
But his speed makes up for it. I mean, he runs at 440.
I think it's more than. I also think it's more speed. You know what I mean? I think it's more than speed.
Can you imagine that, dude?
Yeah, and he's just
You're
can
talking
play.
4.0 is what you said.
I mean, he's a transformative talent.
Who runs that fast?
He's going to resolute.
What did Usain Bolt run?
It's the Hunter effect is what it is now.
You think?
I mean, Ohio State has a number 1 cornerback. They have a cornerback they're recruiting as a receiver, and the kid wants to play both ways. So you might see.
Is that the kid from? Where's he from? What's his name?
I don't know. I don't think it was Sanchez. I was thinking it was someone else, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, I know
Usain Bolt's 40 time just
they
for
just
you.
had this
4.2.
number 1
So he's faster than Usain Bolt. 4.2.
The number 1 wide receiver.
He's a 4.4. 4.2 is fast.
Oh, I thought you said 4.0.
4.4. He runs a 4.4.
Oh, 4.4.
4.4.
I was gonna say 4.0. Man.
That's why I was like, damn.
4.4.
But still, 4.4 is nothing to shake at for sure. He's definitely fast. I think that his ability to make plays is what's really going to be exciting.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
He's a game changer type player.
Yeah, he is a game changer.
So, so right now, 3rd pick, New York Giants. So I have that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. And if he's out there, Cam Ward is.
For now, this
going.
might be a team that would look at a QB for sure.
I think they need one. I think they're.
So I don't think they're gonna make a trade or move up or anything like that.
Right.
I think they're gonna go ahead and settle in because they know Tennessee's really not taking a QB.
But do they need to protect the quarterback in New York more than they need a quarterback?
They do, but I think they're picking a quarterback they have a bridge quarterback there with DeVito.
Yeah.
Tommy
DeVito.
The Paisano.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Boppity-boopity.
where they're going.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't think they'll bring him in and let him start right off the bat.
So you guys, so far the top 3 picks have been a consensus.
No, I have Sanders going 3.
Oh, you have Sanders going 3.
Instead of Cam Ward,
Instead of
that's a
Cam
toss.
Because I have Cam Ward going to the Browns.
See, I don't.
Oh.
I keep hearing that the Sanders have ties with the Oakland Raiders.
Tom Brady.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
And Tom Brady.
They're not the picks.
And Tom Brady.
They're
And
not-
they've been talking.
Yeah.
So every mock draft that I've been seeing has him going to the Raiders.
Right.
They have him, that the Raiders are picking, what,
Six.
sixth?
And that was Pac-Man Jones kind of talked when he called into the Pat McAfee show. He had talked about, because he's a little
Relationship.
closer, and he said Tom Brady's been working with Sanders since he
Yeah.
was in high school
Yeah.
or something like that. So, there is that connection. It'll be exciting to see. Number 4, Ryan's New England Patriots. I got Will Campbell, the offensive tackle, coming out of LSU.
I got Travis Hunter.
Okay, that would make sense, though, considering you're...
Yeah, because of the way, and I think New England needs a dynamic player, and I think Travis Hunter can give them that on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
But is he going to play defense? Is he going to play offense?
That's true.
I think right now they have him listed as a cornerback.
Yeah. Who'd you have the Pats taking, Dad, at 4?
Oh, I'm with you with Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
From LSU offensive tackle.
So it sounds... we're
I
going
mean,
in-
it's a need. They have to.
Yeah, we're going into the 5th pick with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got Mason Graham, the defensive tackle out of Michigan.
I do as well.
Okay, how about you, Dad?
That's who I got.
All right, so the top 5 athletes seem to be the same. It's just the teams, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Cream of the crop comes to the top.
Yeah, so the top 5, it's just who's going to pick those top 5. So that's a very interesting trend we're seeing right now. Let's move into pick number 6, the Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, I like it.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, so the Las Vegas Raiders, I have Ashton Genty, running back from Boise State. Obviously had a heck of a senior season. I think he's an extremely humble guy. I'm excited to see him in the NFL. I liked what he brought even to the Heisman, the Heisman Trophy race. I liked how he conducted himself, and I'm just excited to see how he does. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I love that pick too. He's a generational talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs a 4.42, and he's 5'9". So he's that little guy that you can just bounce off players. I feel
Yeah.
like. And I mean, he just was a beast this year.
He reminds me of a
And
Darren
the way
Sproles.
he carried Boise State as well, into the postseason,
Into the depth,
playoffs.
yeah.
I mean, I don't have him getting picked that high. I think the Raiders need need to run a receiver. So I have them taking McMillan from Arizona. He's 6'5". He's a big
Yeah.
guy, talented. He's projected in the top 10. So that's who I have.
I'm not going to murder the first name, but I got Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado, going to the Raiders.
And, hey,
Just because of the relationship and
Yeah.
what I've been hearing.
there's nothing right there. And then, so my 7th pick for the Jets is the same guy, the McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona, going to the Jets. How about you?
I got Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU.
Ooh, okay. So you have him
Yeah,
going a
because
little
they
later
need
than-
to replace Tryon Smith at left tackle, and they need to replace Morgan Moss at right tackle. So I feel like Will Campbell will get looks at both sides of tackles, fill in those gaps. I think.
Okay, Dad. How about you? We know that quarterback is going to be a question mark for the Jets next year.
They have a lot of needs.
Yeah.
The Jets do, and we really can't get a good read on them. But I got them taking tight end Tyler out of Penn State.
Oh, okay, interesting.
The what's his last? No, not looking for Waldo, but you're looking for what's his last name? Walton. I mean. The tight end.
There's a couple tight ends
No, the big one though. 44. That's the one I'm talking.
from Penn State.
Huh?
You're talking about it's Warren.
For Penn State.
Tyler
yeah,
Warren from
Tyler Warren. Yeah. That's who I'm saying is going to be picked.
Okay, well, see, because I got guys like Brock Bowers out there.
Brock Bowers was last year's draft.
Oh my gosh,
Tyler,
what an idiot.
Tyler Warren though is a
He's a generational.
he's a generational tight end. That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying here. So again, the crop.
I
creeps to the
see.
top.
I see what you're
So you
saying.
think the Jets are going to take him? A tight
Yeah.
end? Okay. You think there's
Help their offense.
You think there's a little bit of is it Conklin? Who they have at Jets tight end right now?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Not sure.
Anyways,
And that's a problem in itself,
but their
right?
question mark is going to be quarterbacks too. If A-Rod don't come back, who's the Jets quarterback?
I think they're going to go Russell Wilson, something like that, for another year until they can get a line.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to disappear. I think he's sat down with them and they went over the needs of the team. And he's probably had a lot of input on what they need to do to improve the offensive line, to improve offensive production.
Okay.
So I think he's going to have his, maybe indirectly, Aaron Rodgers will have an influence on who they pick.
So you have them picking a tight end. I have them picking my offensive tackle, which would
Pretty
be
close.
Which would be two improvements.
Tyler Warren, though, just is a generational talent.
Yeah, I mean he makes things happen.
He's a freaking beast, dude. You know, he's dual threat. See, he could be he was a high school quarterback that Penn State converted to tight end. So if you watch the highlights of him, he'll throw passes. He's been a quarterback. He's been a tight end. He's been a center. He's done everything. Anything you want done, he can do it. He's that type of player.
Well, hey, and guys, teams are looking for that. So what pick are we on right now? Number 8?
We were on 7. So
7,
we're,
I'm sorry.
We're on pick 8.
Panthers.
Pick 8, Panthers. I got Williams coming out of Georgia, the edge rusher.
Yep. No, I got Walker from Georgia.
Okay, you got Walker.
Jalen Walker, yeah.
Okay.
He's 6'2", 245.
The linebacker.
No, he's an edge.
Oh, he's an edge rusher.
He's an
Okay,
edge
I have him as a linebacker over here.
Yes, I got him going next pick to the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
But I have the Panthers taking McMillan from Arizona, wide receiver.
Okay.
I mean, Walker. I'm just looking at all these guys as 40s, and Walker runs a 4.5 edge rusher. Again, dynamic, fast. That seems to be the trend right now. Speed.
Okay. So now we
That's
move
what
on.
Michael Williams runs 4.5.
No, I have Jalen Walker, edge rusher from Georgia, going.
I have him going a little later to the 49ers. Not too, about 3 spots later. But, okay, going into the Saints pick, I have seen talks about Ashton Genty, but I think he's going to go sooner than that.
Okay.
So I think they're going to go cornerback Will Johnson.
Okay.
I just think that they got a best on the board kind of deal.
So they have Walker as an edge rusher in this, but he's actually a linebacker, I see.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of confused. Because I have Williams from Georgia going 9th pick to
the Saints. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he runs a 4.65, 6'5", 265.
Yeah.
That's a big DN as well and quick.
Yeah, I just think the Saints need to add some D on there. That's for sure. What about you, Dad? What do you got the Saints?
I got him with Michael Williams, edge rusher from Georgia.
Okay, so it seems like you and Ryan are on the same page with that. And then 10th pick with the Chicago Bears is what I got.
Yeah, who is it?
And I got Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, offensive tackle.
I've got Kevin Banks Jr., offensive tackle from Texas.
I got Tyler Booker from Alabama.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I think they need
He's a
some
guard.
help on offensive line.
Yeah, he's a guard.
Yeah.
So we all think alike as far as offensive line help for
Yeah, I
For
mean,
the 49ers, yeah, for sure.
no, we're talking
Bears.
I'm sorry, the
The
Bears.
Bears.
Yeah.
And
Bears.
I think Ben
The
Johnson
Bears.
would want Gentry. I think that there was some talk there that he would be a great pick, but I just think they need to help Cam Williams at offensive line.
They need to.
They
They
have
got to
to.
protect the guy. All right, so I got a little ahead of myself. We talked about the 11th pick yet? Not yet, right? We're on 11.
We're on 11 with San
We're on
Francisco.
49ers.
San Francisco, Jalen Walker. That's who I have.
Okay,
So you had him going a little bit earlier,
I
but
don't
that's
go
where I have
earlier,
him
yeah.
from.
I've got Walter Nolan, defensive line from Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think with his speed, his size at 6'3", 305, I just found out that the 49ers just lost their defensive coordinator. So I think reevaluating the interior defensive line is going to be their top look at in the first couple of picks, and I think they choose that Walter Nolan just because of his talent. He's got one of the most upsides, I think, in the draft at that position. Defensive line.
Okay, I agree. He's definitely going to improve any team that he falls on. Dad, where are you at?
I have them taking Armand Venue from Mississippi,
Okay.
linebacker.
Okay. Now we're in the 12th pick, correct?
Yes.
This is my favorite pick, I think. To take the pressure off CeeDee Lamb, to improve that passing game, you need someone that can be able to pass, catch, and block at the same time. And I think Ashawn Gentry, I think he goes. I think they need that.
The running back from Boise
I think
State.
they need that running back.
Okay.
The way he had 138 reception yards, and he had 30 total touchdowns. I just think he's.
That's dropping Genty, though, out of the top 10. For sure.
I got Genty going 12 as well.
Okay. All right. I had the
Cowboys. They want to run him back.
I got them boys actually going on the other side of the ball. Malachi Starks out of Georgia, the safety.
Yeah, he's 6'1".
Yeah.
The problem is their defense is all right, but their offense is horrible.
I think it's another thing. Looking at my particular order, it's the best guy on the board in positions that they need filled.
Offensive line they need too. Their line's getting old, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It is.
Those guys are one of the best lines in the NFL 5 years ago.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
The best line, and they're just getting older in age and years up in the NFL. So
Yeah.
But right now they need a running back and wide receiver.
yes, they need a lot.
That's their two spots that they're
New
kind of
coach.
targeting right now.
Yeah.
New offensive coordinator. It's going to be interesting if they can get that turned around down there in Dallas.
We'll see.
All right, let's
We'll
move
see
on.
what Jerry though has to say about.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. I know there were talks about Jerry Jones and Sanders and all of that, but I think that talk has kind of died down. And the Dolphins, the Finns, I got them taking Membu out of Missouri, out of the Mizzou, the offensive tackle, Armand Membu, going 13th pick.
Okay. So I have the Dolphins taking Malik Starks.
Okay.
I think he's big, like we said, 6'1". He runs a 4.35. I think he might be the fastest player in the draft this year. He's
a stud.
He's a stud. He's fast.
Yeah.
And they really didn't have a need this year, to be honest with you. So that was kind of nice. They're able to take one of the best players off the board.
Who's that? The Dolphins?
Yes, the Dolphins don't really have a need.
Who's their quarterback?
Well, it's
Tua.
I know. That's what I mean, though. Is it still going to be Tua?
Yeah, it's still going to be Tua, and that's why I feel like they're going to do everything they can to keep him as long as they can without getting another concussion.
I just think
They're going to add to the offensive line. I have them taking another offensive tackle from Texas, Kevin Banks.
Okay. Kevin Banks. All right, number 14, the Indianapolis Colts. I got Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State that Dad loves so much.
Man,
I think that would be a great combo for Anthony Richardson there to help out. So.
He's a game changer. You know who he reminds me of? Warren?
Myself?
Yeah, right. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
No, the what's the quarterback for the Saints that plays tight end too?
Yeah, Taysom Hill.
That's who he reminds me of.
Just
Okay,
dude.
yeah.
But I seen in the college level. Now I don't know how this is going to transfer over to the NFL level, but
Yeah.
I've seen him take games over himself.
Just
He's take the game over.
Again, it's
Give me the ball.
It's college level though.
it is college level.
When you're in the NFL,
It is college level, so you gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
So I have Will Johnson.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think he's the best cornerback in the draft. The only concern is his fatigue. I mean, you saw it this year when he got hurt. He was down a little bit, but I think they go with Will Johnson.
Okay. All right, we got the Falcons. Shamar Stewart is my pick there. He's coming out of Texas A&M, an edge rusher. I think that.
You skipped over the Colts.
Did I? I thought I had the Colts
Colts
going
with
with
14.
Tyler
That's what we
Warren.
were just talking about.
I'm sorry, did we skip over your pick?
I think we did.
No, I thought you said something about the Falcons.
That's the 15th pick, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was going to move forward, but.
Oh, you wanted to skip the Colts? That's fine.
No, I did the Colts. I took.
He said his pick, and I said my pick, so we did the Colts.
Where
We
have I
left
been?
you. We
Where
kind
have I
of.
been out there on Worcester Avenue?
I think, yeah. It's all right. Hey,
Holy
nobody.
shit.
No, that's all right. So go ahead and give us your Colts pick, number 14.
Barron, cornerback from Texas.
Okay.
Jay Barron.
All right.
So, the Falcons now. Who was your pick from?
Shamar Stewart, and
Shamar Stewart.
hopefully I'm
Texas
pronouncing that
A&M?
correct. Yes, Texas A&M edge rusher. I think that helps the Falcons on the defensive side of the ball, of course. Just adds a little bit of depth, and again, it's about taking those top athletes that are available.
Yeah. I have actually a surprising pick here, which I don't know. Tyler Warren, I have going to the Falcons. But Kyle Pitts is still there. Would he be available in a trade this offseason? Are they very impressed with him? Then you have to look at the running back situation with Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
So.
What do you got there, Dad?
I have Will Johnson, Michigan.
Okay.
Okay.
I had him going a little later than you guys did.
That's all right. You notice the trend, though. You see the same players
Maybe
just different.
Or two different.
Just a couple different spots. Halfway mark here. Okay, we got pick number 16, the Arizona Cardinals. Kelvin Banks Jr., the offensive tackle from Texas. I've heard a lot of good things about. I know they're excited about that. Big guy. He's kind of a character too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what his transition to the next level looks like.
Who do you got, Dad?
For the Cardinals, they're going to take a linebacker out of Georgia.
Out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually have an edge rusher, James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee.
Okay. That's a little bit different. I have Pierce Jr. going a little bit later, but not too far later. So, again, we're seeing the same names, just kind of different teams and spots. Halfway through the draft there, I think it's a great stopping point. We're going to check in with our sister Danielle for Danielle's Daily Dose. I know she put together something nice for us, so we're looking forward to that, and we're going to take a quick break.
Hi guys. Good morning. I just wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about NFL, about this Jaden Daniels player. He and Taryn Arnold went over to pray for Amik when he was severely injured. He was either on the field or on the sidelines, and so they went over and prayed over him. And he thought, you know what? This prayer thing is bigger than football, but especially having relationships with both teams was really cool, because both teams prayed together over this Amik player. And just being prayed for, I think it really worked for him, and he thought, you know what, he'll be in good hands, and just this prayer thing, man. Power prayer really does work. And so that's what they did. They went over and prayed. Both teams. I was like,
hey, thanks again, Danielle. We appreciate your time. Love the stories. Keep them coming. I'm sure that our viewers at home appreciate it just as much. We're going to pick right back up. We were halfway through. We left off with the Arizona Cardinals. We got an Ohio team on the board here. The Cincinnati Bengals is what I have at the 17th pick.
Yeah.
I got them taking a safety out of South Carolina, Nick Emery. I probably mispronounced that. And my apologies if so, but I think he had a great season in South Carolina, and again, I think it's just a need for the Bengals right now. They got a lot of things to figure out. I think they had a frustrating season. Amazing statistics, just not in the win column, right? All the numbers were there. It just wasn't in the right column. So what do you got there, Ryan?
So I have Shamar Stewart, defensive line. I think the Bengals and the Buffalo are kind of in the same situations where they've got a great quarterback that can compete with Mahomes. Mahomes seems like the face of the franchise right now. So you're trying to chase him, and you got a great offensive weapons on both sides of the ball, great offensive line. So let's improve our defense a little bit to try to help narrow that. He's a big guy, 6'4", 285, and he runs a 4.7. So I think he's got a high upside as an edge rusher. He's got a huge motor, and he's got the tools that he needs to get in the backfield. He showed that ability a lot this year in the SEC. So I think that's who they go with.
I think you're right on point, Ryan, going defense for Bengals. Mm-hmm. Their high-powered offense put up a lot of points, but their defense gave up more. So I'm with you on that. I think they're going to take a defensive pick. I think they're going to take the defensive tack Nolan from Mississippi.
Okay.
Nolan from Mississippi. I'm going to the Seattle Seahawks for the 18th pick. Mm-hmm. I'm going out of the SEC. I'm going to the Crimson Tide. The linebacker, Jihad Campbell. I sure hope I am pronouncing that right, because if not, Jihad.
It could be Jihad.
The veteran in me is a little nervous when I see Jihad, but
just go J for short.
Yeah, we'll go J for short.
Okay, I have safety Nick. Hopefully I don't butcher this. Amonarwar. They're known for having a great defense, and I think with the new head coach Mike McDonald going in there, He loves that, having a great defense. He's known for that in Baltimore. And again, he chose a safety, and I think what we're starting to see is the generation speed. He runs a 4.38. He's 6'3". He's a big guy to be able to keep up with some of these guys. I don't know if they're going to shift him around a little bit into the hyper position on defense sometimes, or a straight safety. So I'm kind of curious to see what they do with him. But he makes a big impact at any level.
Start us off with the next pick.
Yeah, pick 19, Jahad Campbell, I think.
Okay.
Jahad.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
he's a top 50 guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to get back into that linebacker, dynamic linebacker, and him being a 6'3", 244, and running a 4.52. You know, he's a freakish athlete with the rare physical, tools, and he's a prototype skill set kind of guy, linebacker, with his elite skill and his size. You know, when you talk about some of these dynamic receivers or running backs, and tight ends, I think this is a great guy as a linebacker to fit in there to be able to keep up with some of these guys.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that Tampa Bay has a pretty stellar defense for years. They've always been pretty good at that. So that's who I've got.
What about you, Dad?
Pick 19.
Pick 19, I got Jay Campbell from Alabama going to Tampa.
Okay.
I don't know what position he is. My secretary didn't write that down.
Your secretary did write that. What do you got, Jay?
James Pierce Jr., the Tennessee edge rusher. Ohio State, obviously, that game was a little rough for him. I think, but he had a heck of a season, and he's 6'5", 243.
Okay.
He's a big boy. So I'm with you on the defensive side of the ball for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think that'll help them and help Baker out there.
And I think he's ranked 9th best player in the draft.
Yeah, he's a dude.
He's a dude.
So
did that? You think that game hurt him? Maybe his draft stock falling, or you just think that?
I just mean that I know it wasn't an outcome that he was used to during the regular season.
Okay.
I don't think he had as much success against Ohio State as he has this season as far as stats go. But he had 38 tackles for. I think he had 38 total tackles, 23 solo. He was a force. So.
Mm-hmm. So the next pick, I've got
Broncos.
the Broncos, and the Broncos.
Horsies.
The Broncos are in need of some talent, and the question was, with Tej Johnson out there in the Senior Bowl today, doing what he's supposed to do, is he going to do enough for them to go out and get they need a dynamic player? They're going to go out and get him. I actually have them choosing Michigan's tight end, Colson Loveland. I think he's a deep threat as well. He showed that he's big. So
A couple picks later.
that's who I've got is Loveland going to the Broncos.
Okay.
And who do you got, Dad?
For the Broncos,
For the Horsies.
I got Nick Emma safety from South Carolina. They need a safety.
Okay. Do you know anything about the South Carolina guy? We know that South Carolina has had success in the secondary. They produce.
He's my top ranked safety.
And so you just got to take the dudes
That's
where
the
they're
first
at.
safety in the draft that goes is that big.
Okay. I'm going with the Mizzou Tigers on this one. Okay. Second Tiger off the board for me, Luther Burden III. I just think he's another dynamic. His height's a little bit of a talk. He's 5'11", but I think his play, he plays a little bit bigger than what he is. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be a good spot for him, and it'd be a good fit for Bo Nix. They got that exciting Bo Nix out there. Had a great rookie season, and I think that's the direction they're going to be heading. So
do you know that? Not to change the subject.
Yeah.
Do you know who? Tej Johnson is Bo Nix's adopted brother. Did you know that?
No idea.
Little spoiler.
That's an interesting Thanksgiving pickup football game.
Yeah.
Right. So now we got the least favorite team.
Favorite team in the NFL.
The Pittsburgh. At least in our house for sure. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Did you say Jahdae Barron, the safety out of Texas yet? Because that's the safety that I think.
They got a good safety in Micah Fitzpatrick.
Well, I just think that's where he falls when it comes to the talent.
You could be. You know what? You could be right on it. It could be Micah's replacement because he's been around a while.
I mean, I just think there's
in
a combination
the future,
of stuff.
Bring him along slowly, and then that might be the future for the Steelers.
Okay.
They
got to have a plan.
If you notice the Steelers, though, they always have a plan at safety.
Yep.
I mean, Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go safety first.
Okay.
That's my pick.
I've got the first Buckeye off the board in Emeka Ibuka.
Okay.
His great hands that he has. I don't know if they're quite sold on Pickens yet. Pickens has kind of been a head case, it seems like, a little bit in the locker room. Down the stretch, he did really well, but with that quarterback situation, I think Ibuka would fit into that. He runs a 4.3.
Who did I say I had for the Steelers? Not to interrupt you.
You didn't. You just said that they may go safety.
Yeah,
They may go safety.
Yeah, but you have not let us know.
I have Matthew Golden, actually. Because I was listening to you about another wide receiver, that's why I picked Golden from Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think opposite of Pickens will help. It will take some of the coverage off of him.
Okay.
And so plus he's a little bit temperamental. Young kid.
Yeah. You got to keep that kind of stuff in check because penalties add up in the NFL.
He's had some issues. And I think getting another wide receiver to take some of that pressure off will help them tremendously.
Yeah.
So what was you saying? Sorry.
No, you're good. I just said that I think Ibuka would fit perfect in that system, given someone to rely on. He's a great catcher, a great route runner. I don't know if they're sold on Pickens. I think Ibuka would fit in that position. The quarterback situation is going to be a big decision too this offseason. So curious to see what the Steelers end up doing. Pick 22, where I've got the Chargers taking an offensive line. Tyler Booker from Alabama. He's a 6'5", 325. He's a capability of moving around in different positions. It might not be the top of their list what they're looking for, but it was a problem down the stretch. Towards they get to the playoff run there, trying to get in. They kind of hurt him a little bit with the quarterback pressures and stuff like that. And I think with their head coach liking to run the ball, I think offensive line is going to be one of your top.
Well, if you remember, he was the first-year head coach for him last year.
Harbaugh?
Yeah, and the first pick he took was an offensive tackle from Michigan.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right on as far as him building the line. Mm-hmm. But I got him going a little different direction. This is where I got them picking up the tight end.
Okay.
From Michigan because he picks Michigan's player.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was exactly my pick. Loveland is what I got. That's exactly my pick too.
Okay.
So at 22, we got Colston Loveland, even though
he loves to pick Michigan players.
He does. Yeah,
I mean,
you're not.
He told his boys when he left there, if you're on the board, I'll be taking you.
Yeah.
6'5", 245 tight end.
Yeah.
Runs a 4.7. I mean,
he was rookie of the year when he came in. He was a 4-star recruit out of high school.
His intelligence is crazy. It's top
Please
notch.
don't tell me how.
He's a great blocker. He's a good blocker.
I'll have to research that.
And blocking as a tight end is a skill you definitely need to have.
But his hands, like he's a big time. He's got great hands.
Can you do a search
Of
Ohio State?
Ohio residents.
Yeah, or Ohio. Yes, Ohio. Yeah,
Probably could.
that are in the NFL.
No, you could, but Loveland is from Idaho. That's where he's from. So he's not another Ohio boy. Went to the wrong team. Got
Yeah, I don't like to see them kids leave the state.
Who's a Loveland?
Yeah.
He's got a heck of a arm radius too. He's got big long arms.
He's pretty big. He's a generation kind of guy.
Yeah. So now let's head to the Cheeseheads.
Cheeseheads.
The Green Bay Packers. East Carolina hitting the board here. Siobhan Revel. He had to overcome a little bit of ACL injury in September of 2024. Some people are saying it might impact the draft, but he's got quick feet. 6'3", changes direction great, and I think he's got a natural feel for zone coverages and route concepts. So I think that'll be a good fit for them.
Dad, who you got? Cheeseheads.
The Cheeseheads, I'm taking the safety out of Texas A&M, Stewart.
Stewart. Okay, I think Stewart was.
He was. Yeah, we discussed him a little bit ago.
Yeah,
Couple picks, but that's where he fell in yours. Yeah. Well, did you say Ryan?
No, so I have. So this is just 1.0. So this is if Jarar Alexander, they're their top cornerback right now. If he decides not to come back, I think they need to fill that spot. So I have them taking Jadi Barron from Texas at safety. His upside is tremendous. He's got quick feet, like we talked about earlier. A lot of similarity. He's 6 foot, and he runs a 4.38. He's quick. Again, I keep going to that speed on the outside, and I think with the way that these generational players at receiver, you're going to need to stay up with them, I think, in the NFL. So that's what I've got.
Okay.
So pick 24,
There you go.
the Minnesota Vikings. Now that's going to be a question mark, I think.
This is where I got the Starks from Georgia.
Okay, so you have Starks from Georgia going there. I have D line from Michigan, Kenneth Grant. We all know what Michigan did this year at the defensive end. They were just tough
Okay.
in the trenches, kind of fighting kind of guys. So, but I'm really questioning if they let Sam Darnold go, they're gonna have to fill that quarterback spot again. So, do you see them trying to make a trade early to get up higher? Do you think they surprise everyone and take a Will Howard at pick 24? Do you think they take Milroe, depending on what Milroe did today in the Senior Bowl and his pro day? I mean,
I got him going buffet buster.
Okay.
I got him going offensive guard. Booker, Tyler Booker, again out of the Crimson Tide. SEC, he was a team captain. I just see them trying to secure a little bit more protection for them up front, and again, it just kind of needs and availability there. So.
okay. Where are we at the next round?
The pick 25, the Houston Texans, I'm excited about. I think it's two Buckeyes that are going to reunite. I got Emeka Egbuka going.
I like that pick.
There. And I think that would be an exciting thing as a Buckeye fan to watch in the NFL to see how those two can
Connect
work together. Yeah.
I mean, they have the history. They played together, so that's a great. So I've got actually a defensive tackle here for them. I think they go with Derek Harmon. Again, big up front. They need to fill that gap a little bit. The defensive coach loves to stop the run, and I feel like they kind of struggled this year with stopping the run. So I think helping up front's going to help that one-on-one opportunities. They add, like a Will Anderson, like what he's doing right now for the Eagles. I think this is another prototype of him, is what they're talking about. Big upside, 6'5", 310.
Who was that now? Just Simmons?
Derek Harmon from Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dad?
I got the Houston Texans
Yep.
taking Luther Burden the third.
Okay.
Missouri wide receiver.
Yeah, I like him. I do. I liked him. I picked him going a little bit earlier because I just maybe the Buckeye in me wanted to see the two Buckeye receivers or the two Buckeyes combined. On the same page of Buckeyes to the 26th pick, I got the offensive tackle Josh Simmons going to the Rams. Going to the Rams.
Okay. See, I have Simmons going the next round, and I have Josh Corley, Jr., the offensive tackle from Oregon.
That's who I got.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think
That's the first Oregon player off the board for me.
for you, I think.
Derek Harmon.
Josh Conley.
Oh, Conley.
Conley from Oregon. He's 6'4",
Conley.
6'4", 315. I think if you look at him and Simmons, they're both right there.
Okay.
So that's who we've got.
And then we got the Baltimore Ravens.
That's where I had Josh Simmons going. I think with improving their offensive line and the talent they've got, I think he just makes it a perfect fit for them.
What about you, Dad? Who'd you have the Ravens taking?
I got them taking a cornerback. They need some help in the secondary out of Florida State.
Yeah, let's hear you say this name here.
A. Thomas.
That's it. I'm looking at this name over here and I'm thinking, how am I going to say this? Let's let Dad talk real quick so I can pronounce it. And then I heard him.
Zenith.
I think it's Azare.
Yeah, Azare.
Azare Thomas. Yeah, Florida State. Speed is what you think when you think Florida State. This dude's fast, so be a good fit for the Ravens defense. Taking us to Detroit Lions, number 28 pick.
Yep.
I got the edge rusher out of Marshall.
Okay.
Mike Green.
Exactly who I got.
So who you got?
So you two have a consensus.
Mike
Mike Green.
See, I've got a defensive line edge rusher, Nick Squarton. I think he might from Texas A&M, 6'4", 285. I think he's got the high upside of the edge rusher. He's got a relentless motor. He played a lot of snaps this year for Texas A&M.
We're all on the same page as
Again, yeah.
I think they need to fill that.
getting an edge rusher.
With the potential of Zadarius Smith not coming back next year. You got Hutchinson coming off an injury. Now if you add this guy in there, they just have a...
Well, they didn't really have a star at the other end, did they? They just had Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden was about, and then when he
on the right.
Then they got Zadarius
Yeah,
Smith
they got
from the
an
Browns
trade.
later.
They might not even re-sign him if they bring in a young guy. They won't have to pay him the money. He's getting old.
You saw it down the road in the playoffs. They struggled on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And
I think Zadarius Smith's going to, be honest with you, I think he's going to be a pickup by the Cleveland Browns again.
Okay.
Okay. I like that.
I really do because he's going to hit the free agency.
Okay.
And I don't think the Vikings, especially if they take this pick in the first round as an edge rusher, that pretty much seals the deal.
Yeah.
He'll hit the free agency, and I think he was a little bit surprised when the Browns traded him anyway, the way the defense was going and the team was headed in the right direction. I think he really enjoyed playing for defensive coordinator.
Okay.
And he felt at home. And when he got drafted on his Twitter, he had Google eyes.
Like he was shocked.
What are you doing? Kind of thing. That's the impression that I got. Okay. So I think we're right on with them taking an edge. 29, Washington Command. Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead, Dad.
Josh Simmons. This is where I got the first Ohio State Buckeye going. 29 offensive tackle. They want to protect their Jaden Daniels, and I don't blame them.
Exciting guy, yeah. Important to protect.
So.
Who'd you have?
Well, with Jaden Daniels in mind, I went Matthew Golden. You touched on him a little bit earlier. And I mean, his speed is the real deal. 4.3. He's got a long jump. He's just a dynamic player, and I think he's going to help any team that he falls on. However, I have him going to the Commanders. You had him going a little higher, though.
Yeah, I had him just a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I actually have the Commanders thinking like Dad, keeping their prized possession quarterback with Armand Mibu, offensive tackle from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
His size is a little bit questioned, though. It's below average on an offensive line. But they just got Brandon Coleman last year, who's their future at left tackle, so they're trying to fit that right tackle. But he's got a 34-inch arm length, even though he's under the average. So I think his reach, though, is going to help him a little bit. And right tackle isn't as much of a need as right as the left tackle for a right quarterback. Is that correct?
Right-handed
quarterbacks, you need a left because he can't see from his blind spot.
You got to have a tackle for their blind side.
So they're pretty comfortable with Brandon Coleman at left, and I think adding Armand on the right side is going to be a great addition to keep their quarterback healthy, safe. So
good.
Pick 30, we got the Buffalo
Bills.
That's where I got Derek Harmon.
Okay.
Offensive tackle.
I got Talik Williams, another Buckeye coming off the board, defensive line. They keep pace with the Chiefs and the Bengals in the other potential playoff, playoff contenders that go to championship game every year or compete for that. I think they need to add to that defense to kind of help slow Patrick Mahomes down, slow all these other top C.J. Stroud down a little bit, and I think he fits perfect in that middle spot there.
Yeah,
I have to do something.
I had Derek Harmon with the Bills too.
He's defensive tackle.
Yeah,
they need help on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's big.
Yeah,
he's a monster.
Yeah, I think Buffalo.
6'5".
I'm curious. I'm really going to keep my eye on Buffalo next season.
I feel terrible for
what
them.
a letdown. I mean,
I feel terrible for
they
them.
thought this was the year, and it didn't happen again.
They've been there.
So I'm curious to see though what changes they do make. They have a bunch of nobodies really outside of Josh Allen, and
yeah, the loss of Diggs did kind of hurt. I don't know though. I feel like they were in it. This season, I felt that they had what it took, and I was surprised in A little disappointed for him at the end, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was a letdown for him, and you could feel it.
But, that is a monster over there.
So I'm just kind of wondering.
Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, as much as people
I know,
get tired of the dynasty or the repeating, they just find a way to win. And I think Josh Allen in his press conference after the game did a great job of just saying champions find a way to win.
Yep.
We didn't find a way to win.
He's first class, dude.
Yes.
And so, but that speaks volumes for the Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
So,
Chiefs are the Chiefs, man.
Chiefs are the Chiefs. So speaking of the Chiefs, speaking of the Eagles and the Chiefs, our last two picks are our last two Super Bowl contenders. So what we'll do, I recommend we knock out our picks and then we make our pick for the Super Bowl. What do you guys fellas think of that? All right, so I got the Eagles taking defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, Walter Nolan, and then the Chiefs are taking a defensive tackle from Michigan, Kenneth Grant.
Okay.
So they're both going defensive side of the ball. I think that's a high return of an investment on and draft picks in the first round specifically. And then I got the Chiefs with a 3-peat.
Chiefs with a 3-peat.
Taylor Swift potentially performing at halftime. I think that might just give them the edge. I don't know. It just feels like that's the perfect ending to this story of 2024, 2025 season. Yeah.
So I got the Eagles taking Bird in the third, Missouri.
Yeah.
The only reason I think so is because the Dotson that they got from... Who did he come from, Dotson? Came from Washington, sorry. When he came from Washington, they thought he'd fit that third role with Brown and Smith, but he kind of failed that. And I think with them being as far as they are, they don't need to fill a lot of gaps, and I think this would be a great pickup for them. With he's dynamic in the pass game, he's got flexibility as well. So if they ever lose for some reason to Brown or Smith, they have a top receiver right there. And then I have the Chiefs going with cornerback Siobhan Reveille Jr. from Eastern Carolina. I think they just need to add more to that defense. And with that being said, I have the Chiefs for 3-peating as well. I think you're right. I think Storybook's not going to end, and I think everything is coming to Mahomes, and I think Mahomes has got that vision. Like he's got one thing stopping him from being a 3-peat, and keeping him side, separating from what Tom Brady never been able to do. So he's kind of making his own record book, I think.
Yeah,
So that's what I got. Dad?
I got the Eagles taking T.J. Sanders, a defensive tackle out of South Carolina.
Okay.
They also need a little help on the defensive side of the ball. Kansas City, I got them taking James Pierce Jr., another edge rusher from Tennessee. I definitely think they need an edge rusher. They have one good guy on that defensive line, I feel, that makes a difference. I guess the nose is pretty good too, but they like to blitz. That's Spags' defense, and he likes to. His pressure rate's 54%, something like that.
That's insane.
It's something like
Yeah.
And then I also got the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a clean sweep here. I don't care about the story. Yeah, it's a nice deal, but I think Patrick Mahomes is the difference maker here. I think he's the one that finds a way to win 31-28.
Oh, he went as far as call the score, 31-28.
31-28. I think
That's a high-scoring game.
I think that's the way it's going to come down to.
Okay.
I like it.
I think both quarterbacks are going to lead the way. So it's going to be bang, 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 bang. A couple stops here and there with Patrick Mahomes in the fourth quarter. Last 2-minute drive takes care of business. Kick the field goal, 31-28.
That'd be a great game to watch. What about you, Ryan? What do you got?
I think it'd be a little bit. I don't think it'd be quite a bit 3. I think it'd be 10 points, to be honest with you.
Wow.
31-21 or something like that.
31-21. You think it'd be
Oh,
10?
dominance here.
34-24. I think it'd be about 10. I think.
I'm not seeing that at all.
Yeah, I think the
Not
Chiefs.
with Shake the running backs. It's Saquon. No way.
I think that is going to be what keeps Kansas City in check.
Yep.
Is if
Saquon.
they're able to stop the running game.
Oh, I think they'll slow him down.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be. Vegas has got it at 1.5. I'm probably going to say 3 like that. Probably field goal. Maybe not as many points. Maybe more. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I think Jalen.
28-31, I guess. That's about right.
They both
24-21. I like 24-21.
If you watch the playoffs, he picked his game up. He's running the ball more now. It's postseason.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to
Jalen
lose.
Hurts I'm talking about.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Yeah. And he's got no tomorrow if they don't win. But now they're in the Super Bowl. But he's played at the top of his game. That's why I think the game is going to be closer. I think it comes down to the two quarterbacks. I just think that Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and he's going to make that play at the end of the game to win the game. And he ain't. I mean, what did he do against Buffalo
We've
that
seen
one
it time and time
How
again.
many seconds did he have left in the game?
Insane. I think it was something insane.
28 seconds or something, and he got him in field goal range to win the game.
That's all it takes.
Another deflate for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Buffalo.
Time after time. That's why I think there's going to be some changes.
Yeah. Something's got to give in Buffalo. They got to figure it out.
They got to figure it out. Listen, the Browns they build their team so they can compete in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the way they build their team, and that's the way all NFL teams their divisions or the division that's at the top of the American Conference.
Yes.
That's how they build.
That would
Beat
make
that best. So if they got
Which is an uphill battle for the Cleveland Browns
Yeah.
every season. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, we play some of the best.
you got to hit on draft picks once in a while.
Maybe, yeah. And so, I mean, this was an exciting, talk. This is good
Exercise.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's cool just to kind of get that conversation going. I like how it extends the football season. I mean, we're coming into the Super Bowl, and then we still got a couple of weeks to talk football about, different until the draft hits. When is the draft this year?
I had it pulled up earlier. It's end of April.
End of April, yeah. So
How
we got
about
some
all the
time.
coaching changes that
A
went
lot
on?
of, it's coaching carousel right now. So, I mean, it's just going round and round. That's some interesting landing spots, some new faces and new places. It should keep the world of the NFL fresh, keep the NFL product fresh. I thought a cool way to wrap it up was, I don't know, I know we've talked about it before in the past, our favorite Super Bowl commercials or one
Yes.
that really
We
sets
talked about
out
it
to
earlier, yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's really made it to the final cut of the video, so I thought it'd be a good time to bring it up. My favorite all-time NFL commercial was the Budweiser commercial, the
Mine's with the dog.
yeah, and I use it often still.
It's a dog.
Iconic. There's a
Right.
lot of great ones out there. Pepsi's had some fantastic ones over the years. The Clydesdale horse, obviously, for Budweiser. And so that's my vote on my favorite all-time commercial. I am looking forward to this year's. And I'm not sure how I feel about the halftime show. Not a big back and forth. Never been a big halftime show guy anyways. But there's been a lot of talk about this one. I don't know why there's so much hate for Kendrick Lamar. But, I take him or leave him. There's some songs. I mean, he's been around long enough that I've heard some songs of his. And I'm okay with it. I don't watch the Super Bowl for the halftime show. So
Yeah.
I don't really care. What about you guys?
Well, yeah. I mean, my favorite commercial is the one with Betty White. It's the Snickers commercial.
Yeah,
I think that one was just hysterical, and the way she's like, "Man, you've been riding me all day, and
Yeah.
because she's just not the same person." And then when she walks over and gets a Snickers and eats it and turns,
Yeah.
and I think that's
You're not
just-
yourself.
You're not yourself. I mean, and Snickers did a great job with that commercial. R.I.P. Betty White.
Yeah, anyway.
Legendary White from the Golden Girls.
We watch the Golden Girls probably every day in our household.
Really?
Yeah. Stacy loves it. Michaela loves it. So we watch it often. And to be honest with you, I love it. It's so well written that it is hard not to laugh at it. It's funny. It's a great show, and it brings. And actually, I used to watch it with my grandma Liz a lot too. So it brings back some.
It's like dry humor.
Yeah,
It's
it's
with the old
legitimately funny. So it's on Hulu for those of you who are interested. Dad, what about you? You said the horse, the Clydesdale horse,
Clydesdales with the dog.
Yeah.
He was Dalmatian, if you remember.
the Dalmatian dog and the pony that grew up together and then were separated.
Separated,
and then when they
found each
reunited,
other, yeah.
that was so great. That's some good
You know,
stuff.
I'm such a romantic guy.
Yeah, exactly. Fit your
Mom's a
personality
lucky
to the T. So hey, good stuff. Fun first annual mock draft.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're still doing this long enough. We can do this next year. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the direction this podcast takes. I'm sure you guys are too. Do you have anything that you wanted to go out with today? Any last comments or anything that?
I mean, we're trying to improve. We shout out to all those people that keep watching us. I see a lot of some familiar faces liking our videos and watching them, so we appreciate that. We got these new mics that we're testing out with our new Rodecaster Pro 2. We hope it improves our quality. You know, we're always continuing to improve our quality for you guys, for you viewers. We did it last week with the video quality is a lot better. I feel like now we're doing the sound. So what's next? You know, that's the question. So we just are thankful for the viewers out there, and your feedback is sure. So.
Yeah, in the kind feedback. Again, we're just doing this for us.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously there's some things that it'll be more enjoyable for us if we can hear ourselves better and we're not echoing as much, or if we got some good cameras. So, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate you always. Jesus first.
All the glory to God.
Especially with everything going on in the world today, I think that it's important. Our show is faith-based, and it's important that we communicate that message too, that in the draft of life, Jesus Christ is the number one, and he's a first rounder for sure.
First rounder
For sure, and I'm very thankful for him and his grace. So with that being said, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
He'll be able to identify who did it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more, Ryan?
Yeah, and usually it's Dad, honestly.
At 11, I got my Uncle Dan coming in at 11:30 with his big old truck.
Dad will talk a little bit more about
I'm wound up. Oh, wait.
Football's back.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Look what I did. 3, 2, 1. Guys, welcome back to the